welcome everyone. Seeing as it's 6 o'clock sharp on the nose, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order for the Tuesday, November 25th regular council meeting for the town of Didsbury. The first item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Kurt?
We need to add 8.7, so I would like to move the council accept the agenda as amended.
Open it up for concerns, comments, anything? No? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. So carried. Okay. Item 3 on the agenda is delegations. The first of which is from STARS. If you'd like to make your way up, that would be great. Thank you. Welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, and congratulations to Council on being elected. I'm Jackie Seeley, and for any of you that have not met me yet, I'm on the fundraising team with STARS. I live in the small town of Bassano and travel all over rural southern Alberta in support of STARS, so it's a pleasure to be here tonight with your council. This year marks STAR's 40th anniversary, and we're continuing to celebrate the partnerships that have made it possible and continue to make it possible. And as a charitable organization, we continue to operate at no cost to the patient. Next slide, please. It all began when a pregnant mother died from blood loss before she could make it to a hospital. She left a father alone with a newborn. And for STARS founder, Dr. Powell, and his colleagues, they said something has to be done. So that's when they began the hard work to get STARS off the ground. Sadly, Dr. Powell, sadly, Dr. Powell, our founder, passed away in April of this year. So he made it to our 40th anniversary, and we're very committed at STARS to continue his legacy to provide the highest level of critical care available worldwide. Next slide, please. At STARS, we do have a new CEO that took the helm last January, and that's Dr. John Froh. Dr. Froh was at STARS as the Chief Medical Director since 2012, so his leadership and insight and interest in innovation as we continue to move STARS forward into the future is highly valuable at STARS. Next slide, please. So just a little bit of history. On December 1st, 1985, we did fly our first mission, and that was to Lethbridge, Alberta, for a critically ill newborn, Kelly Waldron. So Kelly was flown to Calgary. She's doing well today. She's married and has 2 children and operates a business in Lethbridge. So the ripple effect of a life saved and the impact on a community is huge. As when we started in 1985, it was thanks to the Lions clubs. So the partnership with the Lions actually provided some seed funding for STARS to get started. And to this day, many of the clubs still donate. So we greatly appreciate that. Then we began our fleet of BK-117 helicopters. That's the one in the middle. And it served us for 37 years. In 2021, we started phasing in our new helicopter, the H-145. We have a fleet of 10 helicopters that operate now not only from one base in Calgary, but 6 bases across Western Canada. So we have bases in Calgary, Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Saskatoon and Regina in Saskatchewan, and also in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So no matter where residents travel, they're supported by STARS across Western Canada, should the unthinkable happen. Next slide, please. We do work with multiple partners in the chain of survival, and being where you're located, you're actually served from the Calgary and Edmonton base. So depending, if the helicopter's out in Calgary, we may send Edmonton and vice versa. So that's a high advantage to you where you're located. And we do have night vision goggle capability. We are actually the first civilian organization in Canada to be able to fly at night. So with 50% of the calls at night, this is critical. The fire department also helps to land the helicopter, so we appreciate everything that they do in securing that landing zone. We work with multiple partners in a chain of survival, so everybody really is working together for the best of that patient. Next slide, please. We land in some pretty complex landing locations, so anything from recreation, oil and gas, agriculture, forestry, even many of the floods across the province, and some backcountry type of incidents as well. This speaks to our ability to provide critical care anywhere. Next slide, please. Other partners in the chain of survival are EMS and also Alberta Health Services Fixed Wing. And sometimes a STARS crew member may actually accompany that patient on Alberta Health Services Fixed Wing, depending, on how complex their needs are. We also partner with multiple hospitals, which I'll speak to a little bit in a future slide. Next slide, please. These are the types of incidents that we fly for. Previously, vehicle incidents were the top mission. Cardiac has now surpassed that. So time is of the essence. Those first moments determine the difference between life, death, and permanent injury. And then there's a little bit of a mix of all kinds of other types of incidents that we fly for. Next slide, please. We do provide virtual care through our transport physician at the Calgary base or Edmonton. So all three hospitals within Mountain View County are accessing virtual care through STARS. So if we're not here with the helicopter, we are also providing critical care guidance and expertise through virtual care. So basically, the medical professional can click a link on an iPad or phone, and at that moment, the STARS transport physician can see the patient and either help assess that patient's illness or injury or help that medical professional walk through a complicated procedure. Next slide, please. If you can go one more. Okay. To speak to the funding, we do receive $15 million per year from Alberta Health Services, our largest donor. So that is block funding. And after that, we still must fundraise 59% of our direct operating costs. So the total budget is $36.6 million in Alberta, $15 million from the government, around $11 to $12 million from the STARS lottery. So that's still our biggest fundraiser through STARS. And so we're thankful that brings in almost enough to pay for one base in Alberta. After that, it's corporate, business, and individual donations, as well as service clubs. There's a number of community-driven fundraisers as well. And then we have our municipal initiative. So it really is a united effort. Since the beginning, STARS has been built by the community, for the community. And so it's been a part of all of us to ensure this service. Go back one slide, please. So just to speak to the municipal funding across Alberta and Northeast BC, this map shows the different levels of support. So we do have 95% of Alberta municipalities in a life-saving partnership with STARS, and 75% of those are regional leaders. So I'll just go through the different levels of support. The areas shown in gray on the map are under $2 per capita. And that sea of blue that you see, those are our regional leaders that are contributing a minimum of $2 per capita, anywhere up to $90 per capita. Then we have the provincial leaders that are shown in the greenish blue. And these provincial leaders are at a much higher rate of support, many of them on a fixed rate, and include STARS in their emergency protective services budget. Our regional partnerships, or actually before I move on to that, Mountain View County will have a logo unveiling with STARS this year for reaching cumulative giving of $500,000. So we're very much looking forward to celebrating that with them and in appreciation of their support. So these provincial leaders have been recognized with a logo on our helicopter. There's a few areas in white that are not supporting, but we're extremely thankful for all that do support. It's creating a robust health and safety network for all of us. Nobody ever wants to use STARS, but if you need it, you want to know that it's there. Next slide, please. Thank you. So in recognition of STAR's 40th anniversary, we thought we would provide you with a greater history of the missions flown within Mountain View County. As you can see, I've highlighted the specific missions within Didsbury. But first of all, 840 missions flown since 2010. So on average, that's 56 missions throughout the county, and 20% of those missions are flown either from Didsbury Hospital as interfacility transfers or scene calls that are near Didsbury. So 168 missions since 2010 just with Didsbury alone. So that's...
Stole my question.
Pardon?
You stole my question.
Yeah. Well, we're happy to provide you with this so you can reference it later on too. It's kind of interesting. And to date in 2025, I just added a note there on the bottom saying that 24 missions have been flown within Mountain View County up to November 12th. And so 11 of those have been interfacility transfers from the 3 hospitals and 13 scene calls within the area. So 4 of those have been interfacilities right from Didsbury Hospital and 1 scene call near Didsbury. So, a life is saved every day, but it's the partnerships that continue to make it possible. Next slide, please. Our crew. We have a world-class crew at STARS. Every year they compete in the Air Medical Transport Conference simulation competition. So at this conference there is a competition, and they're put through very complex scenarios. This year it was a farm accident, and they have to triage multiple patients, and they're graded on their timing, decision making, and the outcome of those patients. And in the 23 years that STARS has been competing, we have always placed within the top 3 worldwide. So we're very proud of the crew that we have and the training that they continually do every year to stay at the top of their game. Next slide, please. So Town of Didsbury, we do invite you to enter into a life-saving partnership with STARS. And you are served by the 2 bases, Edmonton and Calgary. A significant number of missions right from within Didsbury and in the area. And we do have, with having our own crew 24/7, that's also essential, and the virtual care that goes right to the hospital. So we invite you to consider entering into this partnership with us, and we're requesting $5,000 per year, which is based on $1 per capita. And if you are able to do so, a 4-year pledge would be greatly appreciated to help create that sustainability for STARS, that we know we can look ahead and know that we have funding secured for a few years. We also do request that a formal response from the Town of Didsbury. We have been here a couple times before and would greatly appreciate a formal response that our request has been reviewed and the status of that request. So are there any questions?
Anyone on council have a question you'd like to ask Jackie? Okay.
Not a question, Jackie. The presentation gave a lot of details, so thank you for that. I wanted to thank you for your selfless, critical service
Thank you.
I had a question for you, but unfortunately you were so prepared to answer it before I could ask. So thanks very much for providing that. Yeah, I don't think anybody doesn't see the value of the start for lives, saving lives, so that's great, thank you. Would somebody like to make a motion to accept this as information for the time being?
I move the council thank Jackie Seeley from Alberta Stars for the accept her presentation as information.
All in favor? Opposed? So carried.
Thank you kindly. Enjoy the rest of your night. It looks like you have a busy night here.
Thanks very much.
The next delegation is from the Disbury Lions Club.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having us. Sorry we don't have a fancy presentation, just two old guys talking here. The community bus we've been running for well over 35 years, and it's not cheap. It is a service that we provide to everybody in town, not just handicapped. That was a thing we had to get by, that it isn't a handy bus, it's a community shuttle bus. Fred has all the numbers and stuff, so bear with us. Thank you.
Yes, I believe right now you've got a copy of what we thankfully got in here in time and everything, and thanks to Jocelyn and all our jumping around here, but we're here again to look for some funds on basically, if you have a copy there, like our total expenditures this year was $57,298, and our estimated revenue was $43,622. So we're a little short by about 13, but luckily with last year's grant and stuff, that was I believe 12,000. This thing would be almost impossible. So right at the moment, we're basically back again, hoping if we could, last year's grant I believe was 12,000, and we would love to have it again, or again if there's availability of a little bit more that we can squeeze. We'd gladly look after it. The buses, we do charters, like whether it's weddings, this and that and stuff, any kind. Most of those are on the weekends, so what we've done now, we have a main driver that is a Lion, and the other and biggest thing now since we started, like Leo says, we've been in it for quite a while. At one time we had 42 members, now we got 27. We started in 1945 in Didsbury, and I'm not that old yet, but dang near. But anyway, at one time we had enough members, and probably a little different since the licensing and stuff. We basically ran the bus with Lions members. We had enough guys to run that bus and everything. Over the last many years, at least I don't know when, we've had to turn to hire people to be drivers. And right now we're paying, we were at 18, we're paying $22 an hour right now for a person. And with our 3 days a week and stuff that we come and go in the charters, a lot of times some of the ridership, and that's what we really would like to have more, but it's tough, you know, they phone in, book the appointments, go to their doctors, anywhere in town or where they have to go, we can pick up and deliver them. But there's some days when our bus drivers are on from, I think it was 9:30 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and the ridership might be only 7 people. So there goes the driver, the gas, the fuel and all that stuff, the daily stuff, and then it's the workman's compensation, the insurance and training, and all the other bells and rings that you guys are quite, you know, dang well with when you got a heck of a big inventory to run vehicles for the town to keep everybody happy, hopefully. So anyway, here we are, and just a little short thing to say too with the 27 members. Pretty well, what did you say? Over 70,
75
75.
is our average age.
That's our average age. We've got very few young members and stuff, and we're so happy to get them because not everybody can just sit here and talk like us two guys. So that's about, I think, all we have to say. We're hoping for another grant, keep us going for next year, and thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Leo, Fred, I appreciate your time. I think we've probably brought down the age demographics recently, because you drove this council around just recently, so we appreciate you guys doing that for us, so. Somebody want to put forward a motion, we'll accept this as information. Erna?
Motion to thank the Disbury Lions Club and accept their presentation as information.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next delegation, item 3.3 on the agenda, is the Disbury Library. Excuse me, sorry.
Hello, everyone.
Good
Thank
evening.
you, Mayor, Council, Administration. My name is Brittany Stevens. I'm the chair of the Didsbury Library Board. I am very aware that we have a short amount of time, so I'm going to hand it over to our director of the Didsbury Municipal Library, Maya Foster.
Good evening, thank you. Can we go to the next slide, Jocelyn? Thanks. 2025 has been a year of strong participation, meaningful engagement, and clear indicators of how residents are relying on the library. By the end of October, we have recorded 54,420 checkouts, which is an 8.6% increase over last year. We've also seen a 6.3% rise in digital borrowing, which reflects the growing interest in ebooks and audiobooks. Our building has welcomed 40,722 visitors, which is an average of 925 people every week. These numbers tell us that residents are not only stopping by, but they are using the library regularly and as part of their routines. Program attendance has reached 6,121 participants, which is a steady engagement across early literacy, family programs, adult learning, and special events. One of the most noticeable shifts this year has been the increase in teen and youth use. At most afternoons, we have a waiting list for public computers. We've also supported 2 weekly teen group bookings, 1 study group and a Dungeons & Dragons group. We welcomed 10 teen volunteers this year who contributed their time, gained experience, and became a part of the daily life of the library. For many of these young people, the library is a safe place to connect. In 2025, we celebrated our 4th year of the MBC Comic-Con. The event drew over 800 attendees with local vendors and artists. It's grown into a signature cultural event for Didsbury and other surrounding communities. Our summer reading program had 680 visits, helping young readers maintain skills over the summer months. The program is also led by 2 local students, which provides meaningful youth employment in our community. Altogether, these results show a community that's deeply connected to its library, not only through borrowing, but through space, programs, technology, and cultural events. With this strong engagement as our foundation, we look toward planning for the next 5 years. As we begin a new plan of service cycle, that is the provincially required roadmap that guides our priorities for the next 5 years, strategic planning becomes essential. A good plan provides clear direction for how we allocate resources, set priorities, and measure progress. It also ensures we can report back to council, residents, and the province in a transparent and meaningful way. For publicly funded organizations like ours, community consultation is critical. Residents aren't just users of the libraries. They are the stakeholders who invest in it. Their voices determine where we focus our attention, which services remain essential, and how we respond to evolving community needs. By engaging with the community directly, we ensure that our goals, programs, and budget requests are grounded in real experiences and real expectations. This year, when we asked residents what they wanted the library to focus on over the next 5 years, their feedback came through that they wanted more opportunities to connect with one another, chances for families, seniors, and teens to come together through programs and community partnerships. They expressed a strong desire to see our collections grow and evolve, especially in areas like digital materials and non-traditional items. Families emphasized how important it is to continue supporting children and youth, particularly through accessible literacy programs and activities that spark curiosity. At the same time, adults and seniors highlighted the need for help with technology. Across all age groups, people spoke about the value of having a space that feels safe, inclusive, and genuinely welcoming. They want a place where newcomers feel at home, where teens have something positive after school, and long-term residents can gather, learn, and participate in community life. These priorities help shape our strategic plan. We also heard many thoughtful comments that show how meaningful the library is in people's lives. 2 examples that stood out, aside from the ones on the slide up there, are you provide a wonderful, friendly place as well as access to many books that we could not afford to read if we had to buy them. And it gives kids a safe place to go. It opens up their world to so much entertainment and learning. It gives adults an affordable way to keep up the hobby of reading. The library is essential glue to a community. These words are powerful reminders of why our work matters. Our new plan of service organizes the next 5 years into 3 interconnected areas of focus. The first centers on people, on creating opportunities for residents to come together, explore ideas, and take part in programs. The second focus looks at how people access information. This includes maintaining a collection that reflects the interests and diversity of our patrons, growing digital resources, and supporting the many forms of literacy that residents rely on. Our third focus recognizes the importance of the library as a physical space, a place that is safe, comfortable, and welcoming. Together, these 3 focuses give us a clear and forward-looking roadmap, one that honors the feedback we heard, reflects responsible stewardship of our resources, and positions us to meet the growing needs of Didsbury. We've shared the focus areas. I want to highlight how we intend to bring those priorities to life over the next years. These are emerging ideas and directions generated by our staff team that are aspirations and realities that we'll be working within. One of our goals is to make the library's physical environment more intuitive and engaging. Staff have suggested exploring a refreshed approach to display, signage, and shelving, so the materials are easier to discover and browsing feels more natural. These directly support patrons in finding what they need quickly and comfortably. Partnerships also play a big role as well. We're expanding collaborative events, whether it's intergenerational activities, technology sessions co-hosted with community groups, makers sharing their skills, or opportunities for families to learn side by side. Supporting our staff is another key priority. We have 1 team member beginning the state library technology program next year, which increases our professional capacity. We're also exploring ideas for recognizing achievements and maintaining annual training focused on safety, communication, and inclusive service. Skilled and supportive staff lead to stronger service for the community. Our collection will also evolve. We aim to grow our digital offerings every year and expand the non-traditional items that residents can borrow. Some of the suggestions are hobby and gardening kits, snowshoes, sewing tools, musical instruments. These help meet a wide range of needs without requiring residents to purchase costly equipment themselves. Thank you very much. Our treasurer will now speak to the 2026 budget. David McQuinney.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you, Council, for inviting us here to present some information. Bit of history, the Didsbury Library is one of the oldest continuing operating libraries in Alberta. It was incorporated in 1905, right after the province of Alberta was created. It's a standalone organization, it's not an arm of the town. Library operations are overseen by an independent board of trustees approved by the town. Regarding funding and budgets, the library receives 86% of its operating funding from municipal and provincial governments in the form of grants. The town and the county provide 73% of the funding, and the province the remainder through various grants. In addition, the town provides us an appropriate building for the library and looks after the maintenance and upkeep of that building. Each year, the Board of Trustees creates a budget for the upcoming year, presents it to council in support of the library's request for funding. Our budget is always balanced and break even, with 85% of our budgeted expenses going towards staffing, the remainder going to development of our collection, programs, and general operating expenses. We've been diligently working at creating reserves from any extra funds that we raise through donations and fundraising. Part of these reserves are operating, where we try to maintain a reserve for at least 6 months of operating costs in case anything happens. And we're now working at creating a further reserve for replacing shelving and displays within the library itself. Most of what we've got right now is at least 40 years old, or maybe older, and it's getting tired and needs to be replaced. I hope that this gives you enough information on our funding and operations, and I'll take any questions that you have.
Thanks for the presentation, and one of the curious things going through the stats that you might be able to enlighten us on is on page 28, the programming is up. What happened with team engagement for a rise in 95%?
We have a great programmer who has managed to connect with teens in our community. We also, I think sometimes things grow through word of mouth. So we have, like I said, we had a number of teen volunteers who were looking for experience that they could include on a resume. Volunteering in the community can be that. And then often that word of mouth spreads through friends. So like I said, we had a group of teens that had a space booked every Friday for a study group. And they would come and do their homework. And I think that is how that engagement grew, is word of mouth. Understanding that the space is a great safe space that you can use for community in the community.
I'd say that it's great that you're engaging teens, because during the election process, that was one of the things that I heard the most, was that there's lots of programming in town for young people, there's lots of programming in town for seniors, but there's that group in the middle that tends to get left out. So it's good to see that's getting some traction. Any other comments?
No. I know them well.
Thanks, Mr. Wright.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for the presentation. We really appreciate it. Good to see you again. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Do you want to put the motion forward? Thank you. Yes, please.
I move to thank the Didsbury Library for presenting to council and accept their presentation as information.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. The next delegation, item 3.4, is the Didsbury and District Historical Society. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Didsbury and District Historical Society. Next slide, please. My name is Dawn Stewart. I am the museum manager. I have with me today Ray Casmer, who's the president of the Historical Society, and Miranda Dumage, who is one of our members at large. You can find us in this amazing historical building. Built in 1907, this beloved red brick school is now home to the Didsbury Museum. It's been a provincial historic resource since 2011. It has an absolutely long and fascinating history as a school, as a hospital, as a military facility, etc. and I would love to share with you the history anytime. We are open year-round, and as you will see, we host numerous events, and you're always welcome to join us. Next slide, please. The Historical Society formed in 1978, and it took over the enormous task of being stewards of this historic building in 1989. As a not-for-profit charity organization, the Historical Society is composed of dedicated volunteers who take on this responsibility. What many may not know, unlike a typical building, we cannot rely on insurance in case of catastrophic events. As a historic property, we are considered an irreplaceable asset, both building and contents. We are actively working towards sustainability. However, financial demands, maintenance demands, community participation, and service are not sustainable at our current levels. Next slide, please. Our nearly 120-year-old building has many challenges. Our volunteer organization has done an incredible job over the years, but the current needs are becoming overwhelming, with several threatening the continued operation of the museum. The two most urgent, as you may have heard, are our boiler and our roof. The initial heating system failure occurred early in 2023. To date, we have put over $10,000 into the heating system, and now we require a complete replacement of our boiler system, and that is estimated at about $60,000. 2 leaks have also developed in the roof and need immediate attention. That we just got a quote in for about $43,000. Next slide, please. Visitors and volunteers have increased considerably in recent years. We are easily going to break another record by the end of December, topping 5,000 visitors for 2025, yet our funding has been largely static during that time. Next slide, please. And how have we accomplished this increase? Mostly by diversity. The biggest increase has been in our regular guests, our day-to-day visitors that come through the museum. But we've also welcomed more people through school tours, we've hosted more special events, we've increased our private rentals, and our monthly coffee and conversation has experienced sustained growth. Everything and everyone play a role in the success of the museum. It's all about the visitor experience and preserving the past for future generations. Next slide, please. We keep focused on the experience of people, whether they be visitors, volunteers, staff, or board members, and immerse them in our rich history and our shared love of the museum. Please enjoy the next few slides that will give you a peek at our past year. Next slide, please. We keep our exhibits fresh and we build new ones as often as possible, such as the Democrat horse carriage earlier this year and our uranium glass exhibit in the previous year, with at least 5 to 6 smaller exhibits redone each year. Next slide. As mentioned, we've increased our regular visitors, we've increased hosting our school tours, coffee and conversation, and many other special events throughout the year, as many as our volunteers can handle. Next slide, please. We really appreciated the partnership with the town of Didsbury to host Canada Day celebrations. What a party that was. We counted at least 550 through our gates that day, and possibly up to 200 more that went to the festivities in the market and kids zone and didn't come to the museum. So it was a very well-attended event. Next slide, please. We also had a really good time at the parade with partners Bill Jeps, Shirley Doran, Dorothy Eggins, and Prairie Motor Brigade. We added more veterans banners to our project this year, as we do every year since 2019. And we also hosted the town staff in an appreciation lunch. Next slide, please. I don't know if any of you had the opportunity to come to our haunted museum, but we had over 625 people who came for a tour. And that was a record-breaking single event that we have ever hosted at the museum. And we had an absolutely amazing time, and we're already planning next year. Next slide, please. We couldn't do it without our volunteers, clearly. We accumulated 4,200 volunteer hours this year, which would be over $100,000 if we paid them about $25 an hour. On Canada Day alone, we had 55 volunteers, and Halloween saw us bring in 70 volunteers on the day of, at least 20% of which were under the age of 25. That is absolutely incredible. Plus, we get new requests every week for research assistance and gift donations. It's a very busy and dynamic place. Next slide, please. Our archive and research division has grown from 2 people to 6 this past year, and each of them are at the museum 2 or 3 times a week. The youngest of that group is 21 years old. At a time when most organizations are struggling for volunteers, we are blessed with an abundance. Even our board is all volunteers. It is both a governing board and a working board. Next slide, please. We welcomed 358 international visitors last year, up from just 7 10 years ago. That's absolutely astounding. This brings revenue into town. Let's assume conservatively that the museum visitors spend approximately $50 on food, fuel, and small purchases while they're in town. We can estimate that our 5,000 visitors in 2025 generated approximately $300,000 in economic benefit. Next slide, please. Increased activities and the lower year-on-year revenues put higher pressure on our incredible team of volunteers, though. We rely heavily on their efforts, but we do risk burnout. Next slide, please. We know our repairs and maintenance costs will be substantially higher than what we were aware of earlier this year when we did our budget, which means our projected shortfall will exceed the $31,000 that we anticipated in September. Next slide, please. Our board, staff, and volunteers are working hard to increase and diversify revenue streams and seek grants. Many grants require matching funds before consideration, so we have to be conscious of reserves as we go forward. We've also found out that when it comes to our boiler, it doesn't qualify for most grants because it's not considered part of the historic property. Next slide, please. We hope that you can appreciate the incredible contribution that the Didsbury Museum makes to the town of Didsbury on a very tight budget, and can envision the possibilities of what more we can do with increased investment by the town in our operations, so we can continue our positive impact on the community, on tourism, on the schools, seniors, and so much more. Thank you for your time. Questions?
Just a moment. Thank you for your presentation. The museum is probably one of the most iconic buildings in Didsbury, and I always like to brag that I went to school there in grade 1, and no, that was not in 1907. I wasn't the first student in the school. I was really happy to hear the youth engagement, how you guys are increasing that, as well as the library board. That's really exciting. That's how these things grow, so congratulations on that, and you're going to have to share that with some of the other organizations potentially in town. As you heard tonight, they're struggling with membership aging, so I just wanted to comment on both library and museum. Wonderfully done getting the youth involved. That's incredible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other councilors have questions, comments? I think I just maybe like to echo what Bert had to say. Being relatively new to town, one of the first things that I noticed when I moved to Didsbury was, aside from the downtown, which was sort of what brought us here in the first place, that building is very unique, and you guys have a trove of treasures in there. So thank you for everything you do for the community, and thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate the time. A quick question. I noticed on the, if you could just go to the revenue slide really quickly. The $11,457 casino. I just wanted to be curious just what that was, just for knowledge.
So we do a casino about every 3 years, and that pays for our utilities for about 2 out of the 3 years. So then we have to come up with the rest to pay the utilities. I mean, in 1 month, our gas and power can top, $2,000. Yeah. It's a big building and it's not very well insulated, so.
I just thought it must be something new since there wasn't anything listed for 24, but that explains, give it a couple of years. Sorry.
No,
That's it?
that just spurred a question in my mind. When you said it's $2,000 a month for utilities, I assume a large portion of that would be for heating. And the new boiler system, will it be more efficient? Will it reduce that overall cost in the long run, or is it going to maintain that type of cost? And I may be putting you on the spot. That may not be something that's been researched.
No, I've learned a ridiculous amount about boilers in the last couple of months. And Ray has learned a lot more than me. And the boilers that we are getting in are higher efficiency. So theoretically, we should see a slight drop, but we're also dealing with an absolutely enormous building. And really what it is the circulating of the fluids through the building that costs the most. Those are electric pumps that pump it through the building. And they just have to do their job. And so unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see a dramatic drop. Last year we did a sponsorship where we got all of our cabinets sponsored to upgrade them to LED lights. And we theoretically are also saving money on utilities by doing that. But because utilities keep going up, we haven't noticed a substantial savings in that either. So unfortunately for us, I think it's going to balance each other out a little bit as utilities go up and the savings come in.
Okay, thank you.
One more question just on the next slide. The $58,000 in repairs, maintenance expenses, that does not include the boiler at this point, or that's?
It included what we estimated our boiler was going to be at that point. And when I think we originally estimated it was going to be about $40,000, $30,000 or $40,000. And then the quotes came in and it was substantially higher. So that number increased by about $20,000. And we only got the quote in last week for the roof. So that wasn't a factor in that number at all. And that's always the biggest unknown when we do our budget, is we can't possibly accurately predict what this building is going to throw at us year to year. So we do our best to plan, we do our best to hold reserves aside, and then it constantly surprises us, and not usually in the positive way.
So is it fair to say that the $31,000 shortfall, that the additional $20,000 for the boiler plus the $40,000 for the roof is closer to 90?
Indeed. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you want to? Oh, sorry.
You ask the question that I wanted to ask.
Do we want to put forward a motion to accept this as information, please?
I move to thank the Didsbury and District Historical Society and accept their presentation as information.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
That,
adoption of the minutes, I guess, do we need to make the amendment? Okay. So I would move the council adopt the minutes as amended. We have one resolution that was just recorded wrong, and we'll correct that if we can. But we have to adopt it as amended.
Okay.
Or do you need the correction now? Okay. So resolution 554-25 was actually moved, I think, by Councillor Murray regarding the appointing of Councillor Lambert to the library board. I think that was moved by.
put that to a vote then, I guess. All in favor? Opposed? So carried. Thank you. I don't believe we have any public hearings hearings today, so that takes us to item 6 on the agenda, which is the CAO report. Do you want to put forward a motion for that, please?
I move to accept the Chief Administrative Officer report for November 25th, 2025 as information.
I'll open up the floor for comments, questions, debate. Councillor Engel.
Just one comment. Nice to see the third quarter financials in there, so thank you for getting that put in.
Anyone else? I have one quick question for the CAO, if I could. It was the statement on your paperwork about municipal standards enforcement. I was wondering what that was related to.
I'm just conjuring that. Bear with me while my tablet catches up, Your Worship. It could mean one of three things. I've had a few conversations. I think I need an eye exam. Can you, Ms. Baxter, just expand that for me? It'll save some time. Honestly, Mr. Mayor, I think that the particulars of that I would have to provide to you under the Freedom, or I guess Access to Information Act, as it forms part of an investigative record.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's, I was wondering if it was something official or not, so thank you. Councillor Collins.
Someplace in the report. I'm grateful for the ability to line sewer services on the town side of the connection to prevent digging up sidewalk and roads, and then having to patch the pavement afterwards. Is this the ongoing possibility into the future?
I will let my engineer, Mr. Craig Fox, take that one.
Thank you for the question, Councillor. It's application specific, so sometimes we can do that, sometimes we can't. So it kind of depends on the straightness of the pipe to begin with. If it's got a belly in it, lining it doesn't much help. But if it's got a good slope to it and there's just a disjoint at the end where it connects to the city sewer, or there's other sort of things that we can address with lining, we'll approach it that way. Sometimes we just have to open cut, but it's an option that we use when we can.
Anything further? No. Okay. Let's put it to a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. So carried. Thank you. So move on to Section 8, business. Item 8.1 is the capital budget amendment, the arena overhead fire door replacement. Do you want to put forward a motion? Thank you.
I move the council approve the overhead door replacement valued at $25,000 to be funded from the Didsbury Memorial Complex Reserve and to amend the 2025 capital budget accordingly.
All in favor? Sorry, pardon me. You're right. Sorry, getting ahead. I was reading something and that's my train of thought. Yeah, let's open the floor for debate, please, on that. Because I did actually have a question and that was what I was reading, so my apologies. Sure. I just maybe had a question for the CAO relative to the conversation we had last night with the county, if this is something we could possibly fund out of that grant money that we were discussing the other night.
I'm of the understanding that this will probably have to come in the 2026 application for the Policy 1006 funding.
And obviously can't wait till then.
I don't think so, given the season. We do have the reserve, so.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, okay. Thank you.
cost of this, as well as the necessity for it to be done quickly, I'm in favor overall of approving this.
Any other comments, questions? No, I think it's pretty straightforward. Oh, sorry, Erwin.
I guess my only question is, are we using a local door company to do this?
I'll let my director of community services take that one.
My mic cord's not long enough. Thank you for the question through the chair. So we, based on the value of this item and our procurement policy, we would be required to provide 3 quotes. We did reach out to what we thought was the local overhead door company, but have found that they are not, that he's retired, so that's not an option for us now. So unfortunately, we won't be able to purchase this door in Didsbury, but hopefully within the region.
My only thoughts on keeping it as close is when, I know with all my overhead doors, we use somebody closer in the area when we have problems in the future. They're there to help us, that's all.
Valid point. Good question, too. Thank you. Anything else? No? Okay, I think we're good. Put it to a vote then. All those in favor, please. Opposed? So carried. Item 8.2 on the agenda is the addition of a regular council meeting in December. Normally put this to a motion right now, but I think we should open it for debate first, and then we can do a motion at the end if that's acceptable. I personally didn't feel that there was a need for 2 meetings in December based on how we're going through the budget process this year. So if it's just a matter of having a meeting after those 2 budgeting workshops, I would propose that it's probably better for everyone if we just move the 9th meeting to the 15th potentially. That would be a suggestion that I would make instead of having 2 meetings in December and adding to everyone's calendar. I'll open that up to everybody else's thoughts.
I would wonder whether that restricts the administration from bringing forward the things that they already have anticipated for this. And if not, I'd be happy to accommodate that too.
Mr. CEO, did you want to field that?
Certainly, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So through the chair to Councillor Kwans. Typically, we had planned to bring our regular agenda items on the 9th and then deal with the finalized budget on the 15th. That being said, at the moment, the 9th is looking somewhat light. If council can accept that perhaps if we do 1 meeting on the 15th, it might be slightly longer than usual, then it is of no negative consequence to administration, as moving a date forward for council simply gives us more time to prepare material for you rather than moving it up in the calendar. I make note, is going to be on a Monday, not a Tuesday. So just for everyone to be aware of their schedules in making that decision tonight.
Any other comments around that? No. I will say that is also the day of the holiday train coming through town. So it does put all of us at the holiday train and then having to get back over here for a council meeting on the 9th that day. So I may butt up against each other, let's just say.
What time does the holiday train come through?
I believe it ends around 4:30 or 5 o'clock, but that's, I'll say if the train is on schedule.
We're good with it.
Okay. Nothing? Sorry, Bob?
I move that the meeting of December 9th be moved to December 15th, 2025 at 6 p.m.
Okay. With that too, oh, sorry, go ahead. Councilor Randall?
Sorry, I'm just trying to get my schedule straight. So the train is coming through on the 15th?
No,
On the 9th.
comes on the
We're
9th.
moving it to the 15th. Could we not start the meeting an hour early in case we're going to go a little longer? Instead of starting it at 6, maybe start it at 5, if that would work. And that would give us a little bit of a cushion if the meeting is larger than what we anticipate.
Okay, so you're saying the meeting on the 15th, we'd start at 5 o'clock?
Start it at 5 instead of 6, and then
Okay.
it would, but through the chair, we should ask administration.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what the policy is on the length of the meeting, whether it's the time or the length, so I'll defer to you on that.
If there's going to be an extension of time, if it starts at 6 o'clock, I believe under the procedural bylaw, you possibly have a motion, but I think there's a hard cutoff at 10 o'clock. I'm sure we can get it done before 10 p.m.
Okay, you feel there's a need to start it early?
It doesn't hurt if it ends early and it ends on the regularly scheduled time. Everyone gets a little more time with their families during the holidays, Your Worship.
So maybe amend the motion as such.
So an amendment to the motion stating that the motion moving the December 9th meeting to December 15th at 5 p.m.
Let's vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, so carried. Item 8.3 on the agenda is the 2026 Show and Shine, excuse me, Show and Shine road closure. That's a bit of a mouthful, sorry. Can I ask you, one of you gentlemen, to forward motion on that?
I move to approve the road closure for the Didsbury Show and Shine for the map provided starting at 6 p.m. on the Friday prior to Mother's Day until 4 p.m. on the following Saturday for 2026 to 2029.
I'll open the floor for debate. Norm?
Just a question, is this the typical road closure, or is this expanded? It looks like it's expanded, but I just needed to clarify that.
Is the expansion along the, I don't know if it actually counts as an industrial road, but I always consider it such.
Along 19th?
Yeah.
I think it was there last year.
I thought it was too, but maybe we'll defer to the administration on that.
Thank you for the question. I actually thought Councillor Engel was going to take this one. I think when they came to us with the last meeting with this map, they had added one avenue on the north end to allow for a few more submissions. But what has changed is 19th Street now ends at 20th Avenue on the north side. They used to do the 100-foot giddy up and go shootout. So they've actually pinched that back, and it's part of it is their decision. They weren't running the race track part, the shootout part. And then on top of that, the reservoir is under construction, so we kind of weren't going to be favorable to that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Does that satisfy the question? Okay. Anything else? No? Okay. So we'll put to a vote. All those in favor? Opposed? So carried. Item 8.4 on the agenda is the use of the old high school lands, the request. Bob, want to put forward a motion?
Move to approve the use of the old high school lands by the Didsbury and District Historical Society for the 2026 Canada Day event scheduled for July 1st, 2026.
I'll open the floor up for questions or debate.
Would this possibly affect the sale of that lot?
No, through the chair to Councillor Mahone, this is just a one-off. I mean, if the property was to be sold off prior to then by motion of council, council would be aware of its impact. However, I believe this is an atypical use, and it's happening every year. So they will be seeking their own insurance in the event there's an issue. It would still probably be held under our general liability with some caveats on that. So I don't think this should be an issue, and I think it happens on a regular basis. I would confirm that, however, I have not been here that long yet.
Just further to that, if, like, it's a long ways off, and I understand that it's typically done there, but we haven't deliberated, at least this council hasn't deliberated on what's going to happen with that property. And I have similar concerns to Councillor Mahone concerning the potential sale of it, and if it's sold, I don't know how it's not going to affect the use of it at that time, and wondering if the possibility of having an alternate approval for, say, the Ball Diamond area for that to happen in case this is not available to them. Those are my thoughts. I just bring it up for discussion.
It's a valid point. Kurt?
So we may be overthinking it a little bit. I think that we can probably go ahead with the approval, and if something were to change, council would come back and visit it at that point and create an alternative. But again, through the chair, I would ask if that is administration's interpretation.
That is correct, Mr. Chair. If it came back, it would be in council's hands to approve or reject that sale, and you would then have the opportunity to notify the groups that are looking to use that space and possibly consider alternative places to offer them. We don't have anyone beating down the door for that land today, and I think that Councillor Engel has a pretty good grasp on how that would work, so I'm comfortable saying it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, I agree. If we had somebody with an offer on the land already, that would be a different situation, but no such thing exists today, so agree. Okay. We'll just put that forward to a vote unless there's any other questions or comments. No? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, item 8.5 on the agenda is the sponsorship request, Didsbury Farm and Ranch Bonspiel.
So I'll go ahead and make a motion, and then we may have some questions. But I would move the council approve sponsorship for the 2026 Didsbury Farm and Ranch Bonspiel in the amount of $750 to be funded from the 2025 Community Grant Fund.
Okay, and I'll open up the floor for comments and debate. Doesn't seem like there is any.
Yeah, so I think in reading this, there's $1,965 remaining in the Community Grant Fund. And I just need clarification, is that for facility request, not actual cash? So could our sponsorship actually be worded that we give them $750 of ice time? I don't quite know. In lieu of money, could we take that off? I assume that they have to rent the facility for that, but is that something that could be done?
Yeah, well, through the chair, yeah, I think that would probably be favorable to the Farm and Ranch group. And it would then be in line with the policy. I mean, the other option is that council just may make a motion to utilize that funding as a community grant sponsorship rather than a facility request. I'm not anticipating any further facility requests for 2025, so I don't see where another group's going to come forward and this decision would impede that at all.
Through the chair, so you're saying just leave the remaining with them, or just the $750?
Oh, sorry, could you just repeat that question?
So yeah, there's $1,965 remaining. I guess it's 50% facility waiver. Are you saying to apply the $1,965 to them, or just the $750?
Oh, I just told you what the RFD just explains how much is available to council to decide, and then the package that's attached gives you options for different levels of sponsorship. The CFO just reminded me that if the sponsorship is as cash, then it would be eligible in 2025. However, if it were a facility waiver, the event actually happens the first week of January in 2026, so we'd be into a new year for that.
Right. Oh, go ahead.
I would just encourage that we look at this as a community grant application in the amount of $750 cash. I think it allows for this future event, the event future, as well as budgeting and those types of things, just to be kind of a little more clean cut in that understanding. And then one question I do have through the chair to the administration is, if we do not successfully give out that remaining balance inside of that grant, where does that balance go?
So it will remain in the reserve and carry forward.
I think that's pretty straightforward about it. It's just a policy exception, right? So it's not a bylaw or anything. It's
Question?
Yeah, though my question would be, do I have to reword the motion? The motion was fine the way it was to give the 750, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
I just want to express that this is the 30th anniversary. Curling in this area has been an unbelievable, great history, long time history, obviously. And I would surely be interested in doing the $1,000 instead of the $750. But that's, the motion is on the table, and I'll just throw that out as a possibility. But I'm not going to make an amendment at this point.
That's up to council. Yeah.
Did you want to amend your?
Well, if that's what council would like, I would certainly amend it, yeah.
Let's, well, look, what's the difference between the two? I mean,
We have that amount, I assume.
yeah, there's $1,965.
Yes, okay, so then I would just amend my motion to be at the $1,000 level, and council can vote on that.
Okay. All right, let's put that to a vote then. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, so carried. Thank you, gentlemen. Item 8.6 is the Red Deer River Watershed Alliance. It's a request for funding support in 2026. I'm assuming everybody's reviewed that. Well, did you want to report a motion? Thank you.
I move to accept the letter of request from the Red Deer River Watershed Alliance as information.
We'll open it up for debate. Are there any questions or comments around the request?
I tried to go to their website, and it looks like the information from the report isn't all available yet, so I don't know exactly what we would benefit from it until those reports come in.
I would be interested in next year looking into the value of this alliance to us in Didsbury, considering its value for our 2027 budget deliberations.
Anything further? No? No? Okay. We'll put that to a vote then. All in favor?
Motion been made.
Motion was already made, yes.
That's a big second.
It's just information on it, yes. Opposed? Motion's carried, thank you. Sorry, that was a little. Then we have our additional agenda item, which is item 8.7, which is the CAPE Executive Board participation.
Move to support Councilor Murray in pursuing a seat on the Central Alberta Economic Partnership CAPE Executive Board, with the election to be held at the 2025 CAPE Fall General Meeting.
Open up the floor for questions or comments. Nothing? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? So carried. All right. That brings us to item number 9 on the agenda, which is council reports and meeting highlights. I believe we have one written submission. Councillor Quantz?
Yeah, reported as submitted.
Thank you. Was there any further reporting that was required? I know.
I don't know if required. We can probably each just give a little bit of a background of what we did over the last couple of weeks. I had no committee meetings, but did attend the, what do they call that thing? The LAEO course with all of you on Monday, and then we followed that with an ICC meeting. So that's kind of what I've done in the last 2 weeks, basically. So.
Well, Bob, did you guys have anything further from Venus or anything that you wanted to add?
In addition to Councillor Quantz, Councillor Stevens and I attended the AB Munis convention in Calgary. During that time, I also represented the mayor as deputy mayor at the Alberta Mid-Sized Town Mayors Caucus. And they want to express their deep thanks to the council here in Didsbury and to former Mayor Rhonda Hunter for all of her contributions to the caucus.
Right. Will, do you have anything you wanted to add?
Only that I was happy to be able to attend the AB Munis with Councillor Murray and Councillor Quantz, and briefly with yourself, Mayor Little, and that it was an extremely educational experience. I was happy to attend as many breakout sessions as we could. I thought we made the most of our time. And I have a written report that may be included after the fact. I'm not sure yet.
It'll be in December 15th.
Excellent. Thank you. And I'll just add a little bit further that my exposure to the conference was limited, although I did manage to get down there for the meeting with the minister, and I thought there was great value there. We got to express to him the things that we were concerned about, and possibly get some resolution on some issues around the funding issues that we were having in a couple of areas. And he was an interesting gentleman to meet, and I think very aligned with the people on this council, so I thought there was good value there. I thought it was a great meeting, even if it was 8.5 minutes long.
You got the extra half a minute.
Yeah. So, excellent. All right. Sorry, did we put forward the motion already? No, we did. Okay, so we put forward a motion to accept that information, please.
Oh, you haven't put a
No,
motion.
he needs to do it. Yes, please.
I move to accept the November 25th, 2025 council reports as information.
All in favor? Opposed? So carried. Okay. Item 10 on the agenda is correspondence and information. I lost my page here. There we go. We just had the one letter from the Olds College. Does somebody want to put forward a motion to accept that as information, please?
I move to accept the correspondence for November 2020 or 2025 as information. I guess you should say accept the correspondence from Olds College for the 2025 information. Thank you.
All over the floor for questions or comments around the letter at this time. Mr. CAO.
Just a note to council, had a very productive conversation with Al Camry at the AB Munis conference, and there was an invitation or a request if they could come and present their strategic plan to this council, having worked with Mr. Camry before in Olds College on creating policies that support early, career development in high schools and junior high CTS. So I did advise that I would bring that forward to you, and if council's willing, I would reach back out to Mr. Camry and say that they are happy to receive you at some point in the future for some, enlightening conversations on what they do and how that might be something that council could consider integrating into their future strategic planning for, guess, direct benefit to youth in the town and surrounding agricultural area.
I don't see how we couldn't see value in that.
Yeah, I'm very in favor with that. Just a question of timing. When in our time schedule is a good time to have that? Early, before budget, or after? Is it a budget consideration, et cetera, et cetera?
Based on my experience in the process working with those, that's more like a discuss it with them in early 2026. As part of your strategic planning due diligence, you're going to have more than likely some public engagement as well. And what I imagine will happen is you'll hear requests from the public to support those groups, and Olds might present itself to be a good solution to meet some of the public's needs. And so you can sort of filter the information from the two parties, both what you hear in your public meetings and then what you glean from that strat plan and Mr. Camry and his crew. And then that would form part of the conversation around what you're planning for the remainder of your term, because there can be several different ways to arrive at a favorable outcome that's represented in, I guess, budget supports from the town towards Olds and towards the school division and things of that nature. So it's not something we need to do in December. That's the right answer. Okay, any other comments or support in favor of that?
I think after we vote on this motion, should we make a motion for administration to accept that?
I'm happy to take that as direction if that's all right with council.
I think that's all we need, yeah. I agree. Agree. Okay, there's nothing further. Put the motion to a vote then. All in favor? Opposed? So carried. That brings us to item 11 on the agenda, which is question period.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My name is Bill Windsor, and I have a couple of things I want to say. First of all, the Watershed Red Deer River Watershed Alliance is the official body to the government with regard to the Red Deer River Water Basin. However, Red Deer River Municipal Users Group is the lobby group representing the river basin, and is the only organization in the province that represents that is fully membered by municipal representatives that represent a watershed in the province. So it's the only one. And they are the lobby group. They're the ones the politicians listen to. The Watershed Alliance is made up of stakeholders from all sectors that have interest in the watershed, whereas the Municipal Users Group is only represented by municipal representatives. So that's the difference between those two. The other thing I wanted to talk about was sidewalks. And while you're deliberating your 2026 budget, your capital budget, I really hope you're going to look at sidewalks. There is no sidewalk leading to the complex. Not only does that affect our young people from West Glen, Rossford, that providing them safe access to that building. They're walking down the street, they're walking down a road in order to get there or across the parking lot. That I really hope that the council will consider that and look at that for the future. You're working on a water reservoir right now that's walking right down 19th Street that you're going to be putting in a new trailer dump station, and so this would be an appropriate time to look at something there to provide safe access for those, not just the school kids, but also for the regular residents that access that facility. The other side of that too is that while you're contemplating that and thinking about that, is that this is the second largest employer in the province or in the community, is the Board of Education, so or Chinook's Edge. So just a point on that. The other side of it is that sidewalks that I want to talk about is that we have developments in this community that we don't have a sidewalk on either side of the street. Most recently, I would say probably is Poplar Ridge. So I could be corrected on that. That we have, and I was probably part of it, have approved developments that didn't provide sidewalk on either side of the street. This dates back many years. If you go back and look at 22nd Street and 23rd Street on the east side of the tracks, they don't have a sidewalk down either side of the street either. And I think that if we're going to be talking and having a connectivity plan, and that we're going to provide actual connectivity to our residents, that we should really seriously look at those things. And I know the sidewalks on a block are not cheap, but at the same time, it's time that we looked at the sidewalks. There's many areas in the community that do not have a sidewalk on either side of the street. Thank you for your time.
Sorry, Bill, if I could just clarify one thing. Your first comment on the sidewalks, you're talking about, that's 19th, you were referring to?
19th and 18th, there's no sidewalk on either one of those. It goes right past, right, 17th? Goes right past the, oh yes, it's like, because 18th is the other. It goes right past the playground, and there's no sidewalk on either side of the street there. Or on 19th, where you're walking past where we're currently working on the reservoir, so.
Great, thanks for the clarification. Any other questions?
Yes. I don't have a question. And I'm not walking all the way up there. You can just listen to me. Kathleen Windsor, no relation. I really do want to thank.
I was like, no.
Depends on the day. He's a lovely man. I just want to really thank Council for recognizing how much work goes into the Canada Day celebrations and understanding that the Historical Society is the community leader for making sure that our celebrations for our birthday is well done. And the fact that we're able to like totally fill the museum, but then just walk half a block to Moose Fence Park for all the outdoor activities, the kids love it. And they also love to see the councillors cutting birthday cake. So watch your emails. Thank you.
Well, I can only speak for myself, but I enjoyed the Canada Day celebrations last year very much so, so thank you for the effort that you guys put into that.
Thank you.
I also enjoy birthday cake.
I'm ordering two this year.
As you can tell by the tightness of the neck of my shirt. Okay, thank you very much. If that's the end of any questions, then I guess I'll ask for someone to put forward a motion to have us go into close, please.
I move that council go to closed at 7:28.
Excellent. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, so carried. Thank you. for that. Sorry, forgive me, my brain's a little scattered right now.
That's okay.
Apologize. Don't need a motion yet. But we do have 2 motions that we need to put forward still before we can wrap things up.
So, I was making the motion on moving forward with the STEP grant, but I think, could you read it back to us?
Yeah,
Please.
so it's to support the STEP Resource Road Program application for a joint project for 23rd Street and Township Road 314 with a funding model of 50% provincial funding and 50% funding from partner municipalities and third parties.
Yes, that's what I said, thank you.
Excellent. Is there any debate that's required on that? Okay, put it to a vote. All in favor? Opposed? So carried. And then there was one more, I believe, that we had, Bob, that you needed to put forward.
Yes, I had a motion for, in regards to business licenses for the town of Didsbury. Could you repeat it back, please?
So moved by Deputy Mayor Murray to direct administration to bring a repeal bylaw to the December 15th, 2025 regular council meeting for the removal of business licenses.
So moved.
Business license, this are fees.
Business license bylaw, which eliminates it all.
Yes. Okay. And we've, any comments, questions? No? Okay, let's just put it to a vote then. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, so carried as well. That leaves the last of our items. So if somebody would like to put forward a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn the December 25th, 2025 meeting at, what did I say? Oh, November 25th, 2025 meeting. I had something else on my mind. At 9:19 p.m.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? So carried. Thank you, everyone.
Meeting at 3:30 tomorrow, so I'll be